Finishing up our driver media today. It's been a good lineup, I think, and we thought it'd be good to have Martin Truex Jr. come in. Martin drives the number 56 Napa Auto Parts Toyota for Michael Waltrip Racing. Certainly a big announcement last week in Atlanta with the renewal of Napa for that race team. It's a very significant commitment. And like you and I were talking about, had that race, and awful close there. But just talk a little bit about Michael Waltrip Racing, two drivers into the chase. Talk about that. That's got to feel good when you go over to the shop.
It does. It does. It feels awesome, and you know, what an accomplishment for our team. I know a lot of people, you know, look at the chase and they're used to seeing the same faces, and they, you know, maybe kind of take it for granted how important it is or how special it is to make that deal. So for us, it's been a big goal for a few years now. Since I've been at Michael Waltrip Racing, one of our main goals before the year started was, okay, how are we going to make the chase? To be able to come in here today with two cars in the chase and being able to accomplish one of our goals is huge for us, and just so proud of the team for what they've accomplished, for where we've come, and excited to be here at Richmond, locked in with nothing to lose, go out and have some fun, and excited about the opportunity we have in the next 10 weeks after this one. With the way our team's running, our Napa Toyota has been really strong, especially as of late, and feel like we can go into the chase and make some noise. So looking forward to that, and hopefully we'll maybe even have a win before it starts here at Richmond.
Good deal. We'll take questions. We'll start over here to the far right. Monty Dutton has a question. I think I saw one here. Kim.
Thank you for your kind introduction, Kerry. I work for the Gaston Gazette. As you go into the chase, Martin, do you belong to the group of people who basically believe we'll take it one race at a time, we'll do it the same way we've been doing, it won't change a bit? Or do you think a strategy, because the chase is different, it requires a different approach?
Well, I think you have to obviously sit down and look at your strengths and your weaknesses. I know from my perspective, there's a few tracks in there that in the chase that I look at already and say, if I can get through these three tracks and have good days, I feel like we'll be in the hunt, you know, come Homestead. So I think everybody looks at their situation. Of course, obviously, we don't have a lot of chase experience. We don't have a lot of pressure on us. You know, we don't have a lot of expectations other than we know what our team's capable of, and we're going to go in there and do our best every weekend to try to, you know, make a statement, so to speak. So I think we've got a great chance. And for us, we're definitely going to sit back and look at it all and try to come up with a plan. You know, what we've done all year has been great, but we need to start winning, so we're going to try to do that.
Go over to the left side, Kim.
Kim Robertson, InsiderRacingNews.com. Brad Kozlowski was in here earlier, and a question was asked about the challenges of drivers like Carl Edwards and Jeff Gordon getting into the chase, and indicated that actually the reason that the challenge is there is because you and Clint are in the chase and weren't there last year and really haven't been in there in the last few years as competition. So it's not so much as they didn't do well this year, you all just did better. Do you all look at yourselves as spoilers in that way?
Well, I guess you could. I mean, obviously it's the first time we've had a car from our team in the chase, and to have two, that's a pretty big deal, like I said earlier. So I feel like, yeah, we've definitely taken up 2 spots. There's only 12, and you know, no matter how you look at it, somebody's going to have to be in and somebody's going to have to be out. So I'm just glad we're in it and don't have to worry about it. I don't care who's in it, to be honest with you. Just glad I am. So, and Clint.
Newsflash question from Jenna Fryer.
Newsflash, you don't care who's in it, but to a degree, is there any sort of pressure or hope from Toyota that you guys help or work on getting Kyle in there?
You know, I think Kyle's on his own this weekend as far as that goes. You know, he's got to win the race. You know, nobody's going to pull over for him. You know, if I'm leading, I'm certainly not going to pull over for him. So it'd be great, obviously, to have another Toyota in there. You know, our teams have worked closely together. Joe Gibbs Racing and Michael Waltrip Racing. Obviously, we share a lot of things with TRD and stuff. So it'd be awesome. But you know, there's really nothing you can do. I mean, you know, aside from giving him a spot, which isn't going to happen.
Questions for Martin? Right here, Mike.
Yeah, MikeMuller.net. Now that NASCAR's come up with this new rule about the rear end.
How did I know you were going to ask? I was waiting for somebody to ask me.
Sure, right.
Ask me about that.
It's not a new rule, Mike.
Oh, whatever you want to call it. It's something different, and it changes the dynamic. And you probably know more about it than anybody else in the room here. Until that, whatever it was done,
yeah.
I was thinking Jimmy Johnson looks like he's going away. What do you think?
Well, why do you say that?
Well, because he's
where
won a whole bunch of
Where did
races.
he run last week?
Well,
where did he run at Bristol? Well, he ran good at Bristol, didn't he?
Well, yeah, something like that. Anyway, how do you see the chase having changed? Is it a little more even now?
That's hard to say. We'll have to wait and see. Those type of things that they were doing work different at different racetracks. It just depends on the racetracks we're going to. Obviously the high grip places like Pocono, like Michigan, the repaves, that stuff they had worked really well. They were dominant. Indianapolis, where obviously the straightaways along the aerodynamics are huge because of the flat corners and the high speeds. It's going to be tough to say how much their cars are going to change. We don't know how much the bushings were actually doing. I don't. I know they were doing something. We all know they were doing something, but I don't think it's just the bushings that are doing it. And I don't think them taking away a quarter or 3/8 of an inch of movement in the bushing is going to, slow their cars down a half a second. So I don't see a lot changing, but we're worried about what we're doing, and our cars are fast every week, and I feel like we can challenge them whether they have the bushings or not.
Thought I saw a hand up somewhere else. Monty's got one over to your far right. Good explanation.
Martin, that Jimmy Johnson came in here earlier and basically said that this was not affecting them at all, that that what they've been doing is already being done. Based on what you just said, are you calling bullshit on that? I'm
saying, watch your language.
If someone quotes me, I'll stand up to the criticism.
I'm not going to say he's lying. I'm just going to say maybe he's stretching the truth a little bit. I think there's maybe a little bit more to it than that. Again, these are all opinions, right? We all have one, and they all stink.
Other questions for Martin? Anybody else over there? Claire, to the far left.
Following up on that, how do you, truthfully, how do you see it? NASCAR saying it's not a rule change, but people were moving into the area. So for the layperson who, is listening to all this, it might be a little bit confusing. Can you do your best in your opinion of explaining it?
Well, I don't know the exact details of the way the rules were written before and the way. I don't know if I don't even know if the way the rules written has been changed or it's just been brought about to, brought out new light. So they're really going to keep an eye on it better. I don't know if they've let some things slide in the past that maybe they're tightening up on. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. So I don't want to say something and get myself in too much trouble here. I didn't say anything. All I said was I think that there's a little bit more to it than what he led on, but not accusing anybody of anything.
Kim, right here.
Nah.
Go ahead, Kim.
This is the first I've heard all this, so.
Go ahead, Kim.
Martin, a follow-up question to earlier. Just out of curiosity, over here, over here again. Michael has been seen over his career as a driver as somewhat overrated, whatever the press or the fans have thought in the past. What would it mean to you or Clint to get him a championship and make that team a championship team?
Well, it'd be absolutely incredible. That's what we're all here for, and that's what we're working towards as a team. It's all a process. It's you got to walk, you got to crawl before you can walk. You got to walk before you can run. And I feel like we've taken great strides, and I feel like we're in position that if we can get on a hot streak, I feel like that's a possibility to be able to go out and challenge for the championship. It's not going to be easy. We're obviously, not favorites, but I feel like, as far as we've come in the last year, I hope that we can continue the success we've had and continue to get even better. So it'd be awesome to make Michael a championship car owner and Rob, who's come on and been a huge part of our team. So just do what we can do, see what happens.
Got time for maybe one more? Anybody? Final question over here to the left.
Can you talk a bit about your brother? I was talking to him the other day, and he sure was standing up for you this week and saying, you know, what talent that you had. And now he's got his ride. He's working real hard. We'll have something to announce soon, hopefully, he said.
Yeah, hopefully. We're just, you know, we're working hard on putting a sponsorship together for him and try to put together a full-time nationwide ride. He's obviously done a great job in his part-time schedule that he's had. And, you know, he's been close to victory lane as well with only a handful of starts this year. So he's got a lot of talent. He's, you know, he's really enthusiastic about racing and, you know, pretty much all he ever talks and thinks about. So we're excited to give him some opportunity to get to where he needs to be. It's just all driven by sponsorship. I mean, you know, you know, if you can find the money, you can pretty much go anywhere you want and do anything you want anymore. So it's, you know, one of those things where we just have to get him, you know, the right funding to get him in the right position with the right people that believe in him and will put a team behind him that he can go out and build his career around.